Hi guys, welcome back to another swing analysis video. So this week we've got Liam. He's a fairly new golfer. He's doing a pretty good job with his swing, but we're going to give him some ideas today on how he can improve his action. So I think he's got a really sound setup and grip, and I think with things start going wrong for Liam is just the first move away. So what he tends to do is get the left arm too locked out on that first move. This is too straight, okay, and his left shoulder stays too high. So when I'm starting back here, my left shoulder is going to work down a little bit away from the wall and down, and my left arm is going to stay more relaxed at that point. So my left arm's softer, my shoulders are more or less parallel to the club at that point and parallel to the ground. Okay, so we've got the club parallel to the ground. A good checkpoint. What I like to see is the shoulders more or less parallel to the ground too at that point. So this position that he's got here, this is going to cause him some problems as he goes up. So as the swing goes up, you can see the left arm stays locked out, and the right forearm becomes really visible under the left there. It's too low under the left. His left shoulder's still too high, and it looks like he hasn't got any room there for his left shoulder to turn under his chin. So at that point, I'm more relaxed in the left arm. My right arm's not so visible under my left. Okay, as we go up to the top here, same again. Still the left shoulder too high, right elbow too low. So everything's from the back angle is going to look like he's moving in too lower plane, too flatter plane on the backswing. Now, because his left arm's so locked out, when he comes down, he's basically forced to try and create speed with his body turn rather than arm speed. So he's really relying just on body here. So as the club comes back down to this point here where it's parallel to the ground, if we compare, we can see my hands are opposite the trail leg. His hands are a little bit away, so he's got a little bit of a gap there. Okay, so it's a bit too wide, and that's going to lead to the club or the low point of the swing being a bit too early before the ball. It's going to lead to fat and thin shots and bad contact. When he comes back into impact here, I would say the other thing I see is his shoulder doesn't quite make it back to the wall, so his upper body's a little bit too far behind. When I'm coming through, my left shoulders work back up onto the wall at impact. So I think there's a few things he needs to work on there, but most of all it's getting that left arm more relaxed on the backswing and learning to let the left shoulder just work a little bit down away from the wall rather than stay up too high and causing the arms to roll behind him. Okay, so let's have a look at the back angle. So, I would say with his posture, he's too locked, too rigid. So he's almost got that arch in the back here, and what we really want to have is just see this part of the back being fairly flat. Okay, and the shoulders can have a very small rounding to them here, but he's really setting himself up where he's going to be blocked in his lower body on the backswing. So I think I would get him to have a little bit more knee flex and work on getting this part of the back flat rather than arched. Okay. He's sort of overdone the idea of trying to get the back straight at setup. So now, as we saw on the other view from the front angle, the left arm stays too straight, the left shoulder too high, and that causes everything to get too flat in behind him here. So what we want to have is really that idea: the left arm softer, the left shoulder works down a little bit more. So you can see at this point here is the total different plane of the shaft there. Okay, so we need him to be able to get that position with the shaft, and the only way to do that is to get the arm softer, get the right posture at setup, and let that left shoulder work down a little bit more and not just stay up the whole time. So he really gets in a backswing where he turns his upper body very level, and the lower body doesn't really do anything at all. So he's turning the upper and he's blocked in the lower body. And really what we want to have is just a little bit more change in the lower body, and be able to get that shaft working up a bit more over the right shoulder. So we can see here at this position the big difference there in the elbows. So his right elbow is well under his left. So for me, for Liam, I think he's really got to improve the backswing. So it all starts with the posture, having a little bit more knee flex, working on getting this, like I said, this position with the flat back here. And then as he goes back, he needs to really feel that the left arm staying more relaxed. His left shoulder works down a little bit more away from the wall. and he gets a little bit more change here in the lower body rather than being too static. And I think that'll be easier if he gets his posture right. And that should make it possible for him to get the club a bit more over his shoulder here, and his elbows will be a bit more level. So everything's working on a better plane for him on the backswing. And then on the downswing, like I said, from the front, he needs to work on getting that right elbow down in front of the right hip. He needs to really be at this position, obviously higher with the shaft over the shoulder, but the left arm needs to be more relaxed. He needs to make the downswing more with arm speed, with relaxed arm speed, rather than just turning the body. So when he gets into this position here, what he needs to do is get his right elbow right there in front of his right hip. Okay, so it'll pull everything in a bit more narrow for him at that point, and that's going to really help him with his contact. Okay guys, so for Liam, important is his posture. He needs to change it a little bit. He needs to get just flat in the back here rather than arched, just flat, and just a little bit more in the knees. So he's going to be a little bit more relaxed. The shoulders can be slightly rounded as long as the chin's up this way. Then when he begins his swing, he needs to get away from getting this left arm too stiff and straight and the left shoulder up this way. And he ends up with getting the right elbow well below his left. So what he needs to do, once he's got his posture right, is just keep this left arm relaxed in the first motion away from the ball. This way, it's going to be a lot more relaxed. The club's going to be able to stay in front of the body a bit more. And he needs to feel like the right arm or the right elbow is staying a bit more on top of the left. So rather than getting that move, he needs to get this move. The shoulder can work down slightly. Okay. Then from this position here, now as he goes up with the arms, the left shoulder needs to work down. This shoulder works way too level this way. He gets that right elbow below. Then he can get his left shoulder working down. His arms will be more up in front of him. So from the back angle, it'll look a bit more this way. So with the relaxed left arm, this will stay a bit more in front of him here. And then when the club works up, the shoulder's got to work down. Okay, so his elbows will be more level at that point rather than being the left arm well on top, elbow well on top of the right. It needs to be more that way. You can see how that changes what the left shoulder does. It works a little bit down here. He wants to be in that position there at the top of the backswing. What he also needs to get is just a little bit more change in the lower body here. So he needs to get that left knee working out a bit more this way, forward, the right knee working back. So he's creating more depth in the lower body this way. He's got his relaxed left arm, arms and club more over the right shoulder, more change in here. That gives him some room to drop the right elbow down in front of the right hip. Okay, so from the front angle here, he needs to get that change in the lower body. When he's coming down, he needs that right elbow to coming in front of the right hip. You can see how close my hands are to my right leg there. So he tends to get in this position here with the right elbow too far away. But if he gets more change here, this way, gives him more room to drop the right arm down in front. Right arm needs to stay bent down in front that way. And that'll give him more shaft lean here at impact.